One of the things you'll commonly hear with people that are working in the domain of spirituality or working on transforming or in recovery is you might hear the term, everything happens for a reason. And for me, working in a treatment setting, it's something I usually hear from somebody. And when I hear it, I actually think it's a good sign. The story will go something like this. Somebody comes in and there's almost always some difficulty that's happened, some challenge that's happened that brought them into treatment. A DUI, an issue with a spouse, an issue at work. Something has coerced them to go, okay, I need to get some help. It's very rare somebody just comes in because they had a revelation. And so I'll be working with somebody in treatment and, essentially they have a lot of wreckage in their life. Something's been devastated, and so they're depressed and they're having a difficult time and they don't want to be there and, what the hell happened to my life and all this stuff. And then you'll see the mood start to shift and you might hear something after a couple of weeks where you're sitting in group or, I'm facilitating a group and somebody will say, this has been really difficult. This has been one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. But now looking back at what happened, and having found myself here, I think that everything happened for a reason. So for me, that's where the phrase came from. I think when you have those kinds of phrases, when they stick and are passed down, it's because they're pointing to a certain kind of experience that people have. And that's not just people in recovery. Anybody can have that kind of experience. And the experience is, I'm going through a difficult time, but somehow the way I'm seeing it and understanding it has changed. From a spiritual point of view, we would call that like a revelation or a spiritual awakening. And suddenly I look at my history and I see a consolidated, cohesive story that I didn't see before. And I look back and I go, everything that's happened brought me to this moment. It's all for a reason. So for me, that phrase, that's the truth of it. The truth of it is that experience. The phrase itself is not completely true. And so some people make the mistake of allowing that phrase to become an ideology, to become a philosophy that they live by. But it's a limited philosophy, and it's limited in a couple of areas. And I'll give an example. In my mind, you're sort of a fundamentalist, spiritual or religious person. If you have a young child, God forbid, that gets sick, let's say terminally sick, let's say a kid that has cancer, and you're living by the philosophy, everything happens for a reason, what reason is that? You could give some religious reason, God has a plan I don't understand. Okay, that's great, but if you were that God, you probably wouldn't plan that. So, I don't know if I jive with that completely in the way I understand religion and spirituality. The other way that doesn't work is all of the mundane and randomness of our reality, the garbage bag breaking, I got a toothache. Is that happening for a reason? I didn't, brush my teeth well, or I didn't take care of this cavity, but is it happening for a cosmic reason? Not one that I'm interested in. And so one of the ways that I approach spirituality, period, is being able to draw a line as to where I'm applying a spiritual lens and where I'm not. If I know somebody who has a sick child, I don't go to the hospital and say, hey, this is happening for a reason. I keep my mouth shut and say, how can I support you, right? And so that term points to a very important, I would say, spiritual reality, of, wow, there's something here that has allowed me to be in this harmonic moment coming from a really difficult period. So there's something very essential, important, and spiritual about the experience, but it's not a life philosophy.